Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the topic application of derivatives. In this module, we will see one of the topics as rate measure. Applications of derivatives is not a single application. It's about different types of applications. According to the syllabus of 12th standard, you will see one of them is rate measure. Rate measure is not a new concept for you all. It is, first of all, we will see the concept, then we will go ahead with few questions. Rate measure, like if one quantity is considered as x, let us suppose that we will consider something from earlier classes, like I consider the cost and quantity of gold to be purchased. X I consider the quantity of gold, Y I consider the cost. We know that if I increase that the quantity of gold to be purchased, for sure the cost to be paid, this will be increasing. If I increase the value of X, for sure the value of Y also will be increasing. Now if I want to show all this theory on a graph, then the graphical presentation will be like, along x-axis, obviously here taking x means we are taking the value along x-axis, and y we are taking along y-axis. Okay, so along x-axis if I see, x1 is first quantity of gold, x2 is other quantity. Here we are showing quantity of gold along x-axis, and y two values y1 and y2 we have taken. Y1 is the value corresponding to x1. Now as we discussed that when the quantity of gold to be purchased is increased, then the cost to be paid also will be increasing. So y1 which is related to x1, here I have taken smaller than y2 which is related to x2. Now if I show them using coordinate, like point P shows x1 comma y1 first point, and second point is shown as Q x2 comma y2. And if I join these two, then we find that it's an increasing function. You can see the graph, this line, it shows the graph. This is an increasing function. Okay, by the way, the theory is something else. Here I want to discuss, as we see that the cost is dependent on x. The cost, and this intentionally I have taken. In general, we consider y as the function of x. It shows that x is independent variable, and y we take as dependent variable. Okay, so y waits for the values of x. When we change the values of x, then we will get a new value of y. So similarly, I have taken quantity as x and the cost as y. Now how can we relate this to differentiation, derivatives? Here I see that initially quantity is x1 and later it is x2. Then the difference between them will be x2 minus x1. This difference will be known as change in, as x I have taken the quantity, change in quantity of gold, and secondly, if y2 minus y1 I find, this difference will be denoted as dy. Difference between the values of y is dy. So this is what? This is change in cost. Here, this only we have to observe, that what is the change of cost according to the change of quantity. What is the change in cost with respect to change in quantity? When quantity is changed, then what is the effect on the cost? Okay, so this in the form of differentiation will be shown as dy by dx, which will be read as differentiation of y with respect to x, means change in y with respect to x. Here y I have taken cost, x I have taken quantity. Don't forget. So whenever we are having two quantities, they are dependent on each other, or we can say one is dependent on other in such a way that if first is changed, either increased or decreased, then it affects the other also. In that case, we can express this as the rate measure, rate of change of y with respect to the change in x. This only is known as rate measure. So wherever two quantities are related to each other, we can apply the concept of differentiation. This was from earlier classes. We have seen different topics actually we have seen there. Now this if we relate to mensuration, if this is related to the concept of plane and solid figures, like I consider x as the radius of a sphere, y I consider volume of a sphere, then I consider x as the radius of a sphere, y I consider volume of a sphere. What I see, if I want to see the change in volume with respect to radius, what does it mean? It means that a sphere's radius, the radius of the sphere, whenever either increase or decrease, then how it affects the volume of the sphere. Obviously, we know very well this is a sphere. So when I increase the radius, if I consider two cases, if I consider R1 to be the first radius and R2 the second case, the radius. So obviously for R1 we can see it is smaller than R2. So here volume V1 is smaller than V2. Okay, we can see. So volume directly depends on R. So here this theory will be written as volume is a function of R. As volume is dependent on R, so volume is a function of R. And obviously if volume is a function of R, then surely there is a relation in volume and radius. What is the relation? That we have to obtain using a formula. Volume of a sphere is written as 4 by 3 pi r cube. So this relation shows that volume is a function of R. Whenever there two quantities are given, one is dependent on other, for sure we must have some equation relating them. And these things whenever we discuss, sphere, cylinder, plane, any other plane or solid figure, you will find that if these two quantities are related, then they will be related using an equation, a formula actually. Okay, so every time we need to use such formulae to show their relation. Now there is another concept. This is the same rate measure. Here this I have introduced using the formulae how to relate them. If I want to observe this change in volume with respect to radius, we have to convert the language. What I said, we have to find the rate of change of volume is dV with respect to the change in radius dr. So dV upon dr to obtain is differentiation of a volume with respect to r. So this formula directly will help us. We can find dV by dr as differentiating both sides with respect to r. So 4 by 3 pi as it is, r cube will be differentiated. This will become 3r square. 3 to 3 cancel out, we get 4 pi r square. This way we can see the change in volume with respect to radius. Okay. Now I was saying that this only is not the concept. There is a concept of relative rates, that also we will see next. Here, before we go ahead with relative rates, one thing we have to see, it's rate of change with respect to time. We observe one thing, whenever there is a change in some quantity, for sure this changes with respect to time. As time is increasing, so the quantity will be either increasing or decreasing. Again, I will recall one concept we have seen in earlier classes, namely distance time graph. Distance time graph. Here I see whenever distance time graph we present, we consider two positions of time along x-axis always, and two positions of distances are taken along y-axis, namely d1 and d2. In some case, suppose distance is increasing, for sure it's increasing with respect to t, with respect to time. Whatever is happening, that is being actually done, or that is happening with respect to time only, always. This is understood and this is the nature. So, whenever we want to show some graph, by the way, in this topic there will be no requirement of graph, this is just for the concept. So, whenever we want to show on graph that how particular quantity changes, then time will be taken along x-axis, and this the quantity, like I have taken distance here, so that will be shown along y-axis. So obviously, if I consider the change in distance, so this will be d2 minus d1, and change in time is t2 minus t1. So d2 minus d1, if I denote it by dy t2 minus t1 as a dx, then obviously change in distance with respect to time will be written as dy by dx, or to show it particularly with respect to time, we can write dt, and we can write here dy by dt also. So whenever there is a change given and we are not given anything mentioned that with respect to what, so we can consider this always common thing. This is with respect to time, okay, because everything changes with respect to time. So this will help us to understand the concept of relative rates. Relative rates means whenever two quantities are given. This topic is important, be careful. We are having two quantities A and B. Previously I gave you one example where volume and radius of a sphere were taken, but volume was dependent on radius. There was a relation. Using a formula we could show that volume is related to the radius of the sphere. But suppose I consider a case where A and B are not related to each other. They are not dependent on each other, either A to B or B to A. But still I want to find dA by dB. dA by dB. dA by dB will be known as rate of change. We will write in statement rate of change in A with respect to B. Means when B changes, then how A changes. And I say the condition is they are not dependent on each other. In such a case, what we do? We take help of the concept of parametric functions. We know that all functions actually they are having one common parameter, it is time. Recently I said a common parameter in all functions is time. Everything changes with respect to time. So we can find dA by A will be some function for sure, as I said this is a quantity. So dA by dt means differentiating with respect to t, or the change in A with respect to time can be shown by dA by dt. The change in B with respect to time will be shown by dB upon dt. Then the required dA upon dB, the required change, this can be written as dA by dt divided by dB by dt. This will help us to relate two quantities which are directly not dependent on each other. Okay, so more examples we can take further. As I said, we are going to see relative rates, that is those rate measures of such quantities which are not directly related. Let me tell you, like previous examples, all we have taken that one quantity, either you consider as x or y, one quantity will be dependent on the other directly. Here, if I say that x is surface area of a sphere, I consider x as a surface area of a sphere, this surface area, okay, and the same sphere, y is the volume, y is the volume, Now if I want to see the change in y means volume, if I want to see the change in volume with respect to the surface area, so if I ask this equation, then there is a doubt that how can we see the change in volume with respect to surface area. Why this question may arise? Reason, because volume and surface area of a sphere are not directly related. They are dependent on one common unit. This is r, the radius of the sphere. If we see the surface area of the sphere is 4 pi r square, that's denoted by s, and the volume is 4 pi r cube divided by 3. So this way we see that both of them are not directly related, they are individually related to r, the radius, the common thing. And here the question I am asking, the change in y with respect to x, how can we do? In such a case the concept becomes of parametric function. This concept becomes of parametric function. What we do in that case? You remember, in parametric function we do not find a direct change or direct differentiation. What we consider? This is the parameter r here, because it is common in both of them. What we are going to do for this variable? We will differentiate s, the surface area, with respect to r. What does it mean? We observe the change in surface area with respect to r. Okay, this can be taken for graphical presentation as r1, r2, s1, s2. As we know that the radius when is increased of a sphere, then surface area for sure will be increased. So with respect to radius, we are seeing the change in surface area. Okay, here also we can find dV by dr, that is change in volume with respect to radius. For this purpose, graphical presentation will be r1 and r2 and taken along x-axis, then alongside v1 and v2 will be taken on y-axis, as again we know that when radius is increased of the sphere, volume surely will be increased. Okay, then what we do, using the concept of parametric function differentiation, we need to find a change in volume with respect to the change in surface area, means we need dV by ds. So in such a case, we write dV upon dr divided by ds upon dr. Here we apply the concept of parametric function to find the rate of change. Okay, so this way these rate measures can be obtained. We will see some examples so that we can understand it better. This example we can consider one of the easiest thing for the beginning. Find the rate of change of the volume of a sphere with respect to its radius, when radius is given at 3 cm. First thing you should note down that whenever you are given this thing, radius is 3 cm, it's a condition, and this will be used always at last of the solution. Whenever we are done with all the differentiation part, then only we will substitute the value given. It's a particular condition at which we have to obtain the required change. Now let's see, we need to find a change in volume with respect to radius. That is, we are observing the change in volume of the sphere on the basis of radius. So obviously volume will be considered to be y. That's in conventional methods we consider y, which is a dependent variable, and radius as x, which is independent variable. Okay, means required change. If I write that y be the volume and x be the radius, then dV by dr is the required thing. You can express it as dV by dr, doesn't matter. This will be actually equal to dy by dx. Okay, means what we have to do, we need to differentiate volume with respect to radius. We need to differentiate volume with respect to radius, and this is possible only when volume is a function of r. Or in easier language I will speak that volume has a direct relation with r. For that you must know the formula of volume of a sphere. Let's see what is formula of a volume. Volume of sphere can be written as 4 by 3 pi r cubed. Yes, volume we can say is a function of radius. It's a direct relation between them. So direct differentiation is possible. We can see V this is equal to 4 by 3 pi r cubed. Simply we'll write differentiating with respect to r. So as soon as we do, this thing will be written as dV by dr equal to, this is constant, 4 by 3 pi. Only r cube will be operated. This will become 3r square. As I said, depends on your choice. You can convert them in language y and x, or you can keep them as v and r only. Doesn't matter. Okay. So dV by dr, we have obtained this thing. As I said, that one condition will be given. Suppose is given. In that condition, we have to use at last after we are done with the differentiation. Now this is dV by dr. We need to find this dV by dr at the condition when r is 3. So this thing is written as dV upon dr. When r becomes 3 cm, the radius of the sphere becomes 3 cm. At that moment, what will be the change? What is the rate of change of volume? Will be equal to, replace r by 3. We get 4 by 3 pi into 3 into 3 square. This 3 and 3 cancel out. 3 square 9 for the 36 pi. 36 pi. Now, for second example, you can see, find the rate of change in volume of a sphere with respect to its surface area when radius is 2 cm. Here I have changed the condition. Bit changed. What? We need to find a change in volume dV with respect to the surface area ds, where v stand for volume, s stand for surface area. dV by ds is the required thing. Again I will say, as this thing, this reflection, this dV by ds, the differential coefficient, shows that we need to find a change in volume with respect to surface area. So you can take surface area as x and volume as y, or you keep it as it is. But what is the difference in this equation? As we see that if I need to find a change in volume with respect to surface area, they are not directly related to each other. There is no formula actually. Whenever I am speaking related, means we must have one equation relating these two things. We don't have the direct relation. Yes, we have a common thing, radius. Recently in the concept I have explained. Okay, so what we are going to do, volume of the sphere as V is 4 by 3 pi r cube, and surface area S is 4 pi r square. But we have to, as I see, this is the form, this is the pattern of a parametric function. So here you write differentiating with respect to r. We find dV upon dr becomes 4 by 3 pi 3r square. 3 to 3 cancel out. We can say it's a 4 pi r square. Here, differentiating with respect to r only, which is parameter, ds upon dr we can obtain as 4 pi into 2r, which is 8 pi r. Therefore, dV by ds is equal to dV by dr upon ds upon dr. Put the values, we get 4 pi r square upon 8 pi r. Cancellations, pi to pi, 4 ones and 4 twos are r2 square. Cancel out. Final stage, this is half of r. Don't forget, we are going to find a particular case when r is equal to 2. So dV upon ds for r equal to 2 will be obtained as half of 2. 1. This is the required change, required differentiation. You have got it. We will see more examples on this. As the next example, we have taken such a question which is a bit different from the previous ones. A circular disc of radius 3 cm is being heated. Circular disc we are given of radius 3 cm, means in the beginning it is 3 cm. It's being heated. Obviously when we heat the metal, it's a circular disc, not mentioned, but still when it is heated, given that due to expansion, because of heating, it's being expanded, its radius increases at the rate of 0.05 centimeter per second. Now try to understand what is this thing about. We are given the radius increases whenever something is increasing or decreasing actually, and its rate is given. At the rate of also it is given. First of all, let me say, whenever something is increasing or decreasing, that is a change. Always change takes place in form of either increase or decrease. Now, we are given rate of increase. So, this is actually rate of change in radius. Rate of change in radius. Now, how to understand it? We are given unit also, centimeter per second. Centimeter per second. So, here, if I consider R to be the radius of circular disc, so we can say radius of disc will be R. Therefore, dr upon dt, dr by dt means change in radius with respect to time. As per second is given, centimeter is the unit of radius and second is the unit of time. So, this will be 0.05 centimeter per second. One more additional thing, here we see that this change is positive. So, whenever the change is given positive, for sure it's about increasing. When it is negative, so this will be decreasing rate. Okay. By the way, let's come back to the point. We need to find the rate at which its area is increasing when radius is 3.2. Means after a particular time, when radius becomes 3.2 centimeter, in this condition, we need to find the rate of change in area. Means our equation will be, if area is A, equation is dA by dt. We need to find. Now, here I see that we are given the change with respect to time of radius. We need to find the change in area and also area of a circle. This is circular disc. Don't forget, we have to understand the figure. Here, area of a circle is directly related to the radius of that circle. So we have to write the formula. Since area of circle is equal to pi r square, therefore we can write A, which we have considered. A is equal to pi r square. We need to find a change in area, so differentiating with respect to t. T stands for time here. We find dA by dt. Now, as we are differentiating, so pi is a constant, r square will be 2r, and by chain rule dr by dt. As we are differentiating with respect to time, that's required to know. Yeah. Now, after once we differentiate, we have to put the values here. This becomes pi into 2. R also is given, a particular case 3.2. So here we will replace R by 3.2 and dr by dt. This also we are given mentioned. It's 0.05. Now multiplying all this, 2 into 0.05 will make it 0.1, and finally we will get 0.32 pi. As this is now about unit, we will discuss. It's area upon time. You see, dA means area, dt is for time. So unit of area is centimeter square and time per second. So this way we put the unit, centimeter square per second. Okay. So here this way we will find this. This was different from previous question. More question we will see next. Next question, question number 4. You see, a man 2 meter high walks at uniform speed of 6 km per hour away from a lamppost 6 meter high. Find the rate at which the length of his shadow increases. This question actually is given in a triangle. If you consider that this is the length, or we can consider this to be the road, we are given there is a lamp post. You can see each question I am drawing the figures. This may be helpful to you. In my opinion, you should go with diagram first. Lamp post 6 meter high is given. And we are told that a man 2 meter height means man also we will consider in form of a vertical line. This is moving away from the lamp post at a speed of 6 km per hour. So if I consider this point to be A, this as B, you can see if a man goes away from the lamp post means AB is increasing. Distance AB is increasing. Okay, at speed of 6 km per hour. So this speed, as you can see, in German we say this is the speed, nothing else. The speed is equal to distance upon time. Now, speed actually is the rate of change of distance with respect to time. So here we can write, if I consider s is the speed, then we can write ds upon dt. This is given as 6 km per hour, which we will use for AB. Actually, this is the rate of change of AB. Okay. Now, find the rate at which the length of a shadow increases. Now, let me tell you here in the question. First of all, we should think that what about shadow? If a PA I consider lamppost, QB I consider a man. If a beam of light rays goes this way, touching the top of the man and strikes here at the ground, this point is C, then shadow is BC. AB is given, increasing, shadow is BC. We need to find the increase in BC. What is the rate of change in BC? So let's plan it out. We consider AB as X, BC as Y. Then, according to the condition, we are given dx upon dt, 6 km per hour, the rate of change of x. We need to find dy by dt. Our question is, what is dy by dt? Now, by the concept of similar triangles, you can see QBC is similar to PAC. Triangle QBC is similar to triangle PAC, a concept from 10th standard. If you remember, you can see these two are similar. You can see C is common, 90 to 90 equal. That's why by double similarity these two are similar. Okay, this is just for your knowledge. So directly you can say sides are proportional. Corresponding sides are proportional. Corresponding sides are QB upon PA. This is equal to CB upon CA. Now QB, what is the length QB? It's 2. PA, it's given 6, equal to CB. CB we are given Y as we have taken. CA will be the sum of these two, CB plus AB. So this becomes X plus Y. Now this gives you one equation. Solving, we get X plus Y is equal to 3Y, or we can say X is equal to 2Y. This way X and Y are related directly. Okay. As soon as we get a direct relation between X and Y, now we can differentiate with respect to T. Differentiate with respect to T. What will happen? It becomes dx upon dt equal to twice dy by dt. Very simple. Now dx upon dt, the value is given 6, 2 into dy by dt. So we finally get dy by dt equal to 3. Now as this is a change in distance with respect to time, and distance we are measuring in here where this was given kilometer per hour, so this also can be said as kilometer per hour. Okay, so this is the change in distance. I hope you got it. Next question we'll see now. And next question we can see, we are given water is dripping out from a conical funnel at a uniform rate of 2 cubic centimeter per second. 2 cubic centimeter per second shows the change in volume with respect to time. We can see cubic centimeter is the unit of volume, per second means with respect to time we are doing. Through this hole, we are given at the bottom, water is being out. So, when the slant height of the water is 4 centimeter, find the rate of decrease of the slant height. We need slant height is this one. If I consider slant height to be L, then required value we need to find, required change is dl by dt. and we are given dV by dt. If V is the volume, then dV by dt we are given as 2 cubic centimeter per second. 2 cubic centimeter per second. Now, also we are given that the vertical angle of the cone is this funnel. Vertical angle means this complete angle is 120 degree, and we must know it becomes half here, which is made by the height. This is perpendicular height and this is radius. So height divides this vertically angle into two equal parts, bisects it, so this becomes 60 degree. Now what we have to do? How can we proceed? As we are given change in volume, we need to find change in slant height. We need to relate these two. We know the formula for volume of a cone is 1 by 3 pi r square h. You can see V is not directly related to L, but we can convert these dimensions r and h in form of L using the 60 degree. In triangle, right triangle, this one is 60 degree, R, H and L. If R and L are to be related with respect to this angle, we have to take sine 60. Sine 60, this will be equal to R upon L, which is root 3 by 2, R upon L. Also, when we take cos 60, it becomes H upon L, so 1 by 2, this is equal to H upon L. From here, we will find the values of R and H in terms of L, and we put here in the formula of volume as 1 by 3 by R square, means from here we can say this is root 3 by 2L whole square into H, this can be written as L by 2. So finally we will get pi by 3 into, this will become 3, this 2 square will be 4, so 3 by 8 L cube. Finally we have written volume as a function of L. Now we can differentiate with respect to T. So we get here dV by dt, this is equal to, rest of the things are constant, pi by 8 into 3L square dl by dt. dl by dt is the required value. Now dV by dt as we are given 2, pi by 8 as it is 3. Also condition is given, we need to find a change when slant height is 4. So this becomes 4 square into dl by dt. Solving, we get dl by dt as 16 upon 48 pi, and cancellation 16 1s and 3s, finally 1 upon 3 pi. dl, L stands for slant height, so centimeter, and T is time, so this is centimeter per second. This is the required change in this equation. So these were various types of equation to explain the concept of rate measure. I hope you have got it. Thank you very much.